What's going on, Lakers fans, and welcome into episode 45 of the Lake Show Flow. I am your host, Gio. As the Lakers get their biggest win of the season, marching into OKC against the number one seed in the entire NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, beating them 126-99. Before I get into the game, though, I just want to say, if you're new here or you've been here, please support the channel, leave a like on the video, leave me a comment, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe if you are new. As I said, though, the Lakers marched into OKC. They established the tone. They did everything that you would expect out of this team when they're fully just operating on all cylinders. This is what their potential looks like. And I said it in, the video, the last one I did. I didn't even bother talking about the Pelicans game. I mean, it was a good win, but I just felt like it lacked anything for me. It didn't really do anything for me. It's like I expected them to beat the Pelicans, and it was the day after they lost to the Warriors. So it was like, okay, you had a bad performance against the Warriors, you beat the Pelicans, but it wasn't really fulfilling, So I wanted to wait till this game to kind of I felt like this game was going to tell us a lot. And what it tells me is everything I've been saying about the Lakers and their full potential is right there for the taking. This is a team that nobody expected the Lakers to go in and beat. They were the underdogs by I think a 9-point spread. They were supposed to lose, and pretty handedly, right? And so I feel like going into OKC and Luka being able to continue the success that he had after that terrible first quarter he had against the Pelicans, he pretty much picked up where he left off. He had a great game tonight. It seemed like they just had no answers, and they pretty much, he had their entire defense in a blender. He was able to get people switched onto him and still just pretty much take advantage of any matchup that they threw at him. He ends up with 30 points. He hit 5 3-pointers, 11 for 20 from the field to go along with 7 rebounds and 6 assists. And Austin Reeves, another 20-point game. He threw in 3 assists with 2 rebounds. LeBron James, a little more quiet, 19 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. And the bench, like I said, when they show up, when they're hitting shots, it comes down to 2 players off the bench that really matter, and it's Gabe Vincent and it's Dorian Finney-Smith. They both hit 4 3-pointers each. Gabe Vincent had 12 points, and Dorian Finney-Smith had 14 points with 7 rebounds. So, as I said, when the Lakers are winning, when they're able to get these big performances against good teams, these 2 off the bench need to do something. And the game that against the Warriors, we saw that they didn't do anything. They combined for 7 points off the bench, right? And then in this game, they turn around with 26 off the bench. So you're already getting around, 20 to 30 from your 3 main stars. So when those 3 main stars are getting 20 to 30 each, you kind of need that bench production. You need other scorers to show up. So that's basically Rui. He'll fill in for 11. Today he had 11. He can get 11 to 20. He can go off for 25 sometimes, right? But off the bench, when you're going to that small ball look quite often, the way JJ does, he takes Jackson out pretty quickly, right? So he's going to throw Dorian in there. They're going to rotate the 5. It's going to be Dorian a little bit. It's going to be Rui sometimes. Going to be LeBron, depending on the matchup. But you need some type of threat out there because obviously you're throwing in a small ball look and everyone on the court should be able to shoot. But when Dorian's not knocking it down, then it allows them to pretty much blitz all of our main guys without consequences. And like I said, you're going to need production from other places. No team is just going to be carried like that. Even if you got the best 3 players in the league, they're going to need to be able to have 2 other guys on the court at a time that could get it done, right? So I just think it comes up clutch when Dorian's knocking down his shots, when Gabe's being productive. That's what I said last time is they didn't knock down their shots, and it pretty much, if Luka's having a bad game, there's no one else that could really pick up for that slack, right? But today, they showed up. Luka, like I said, the last game against the Pelicans, he said himself, it was probably the worst first quarter that he's ever had of his career, and he was 0 for 7. Then he turns out around and he goes 10 for 14 the rest of the game, which is very efficient. And like I said today, he was 11 for 20. It seemed like he kind of let up off the, he took his foot off the gas a little bit in the middle. Probably, I think everyone was kind of eating at one point, and OKC did kind of chip into the game, but I think Luka could have went crazy. This could have been a 40-something point game if it was competitive. He didn't really have to keep going at the rate that he was going at from the start, but the LA pretty much controlled it. the entire game. And the most beautiful part of it was the defense. It seemed like the defense was reaching that level that we haven't seen in a long time. And see, the defense can make up for a lot of the Lakers' deficiencies that might show up sometimes. Like maybe you're not having the best shooting night, but you're holding. When you hold a team like the Thunder to 99 points in today's NBA, they step onto the floor and you can probably assume that the Thunder would score like 115. Like I don't even know what their average is, but you could assume that they're scoring 115 to 120, especially on the pace that they've been on. They've been going crazy. They've been beating a lot of teams and good teams, right? So they march into their home court and they hold them to 99. The defense was on a different level. They were able to actually, a lot of their scheme that they were implementing before, it seemed like they were doing the same thing. Everybody was switching. Everybody was, taking care of their assignment. Austin Reeves, he really held his own against Shea. We saw some moments of Rui on Shea as well. And I think those guys really held their ground without fouling. And that was the beautiful thing. Shea, people call him a foul merchant. He had no free throws today. So it was pretty wild. People were getting kind of nasty on Twitter. I saw a lot of funny memes where people were using AI to make Shea. They're putting Shea in like a Burger King outfit, or I think one of them was a In-N-Out outfit, and it said Shea without free throws. And it felt bad. He wasn't able to play his own game. You know what I mean? I think he is the type of player that does get a lot of free throw calls, but this felt like the referee's whistle was almost like a playoff game. And that kind of benefited the Lakers, and it kind of gave you a sense of like how these matchups could go, because without all the free throws and everything slowing down the way Golden State did it in that game, it seemed like the Lakers really were able to control the pace more when it wasn't being stopped like that. They were able to get into their half-court defense, and they were able to actually just contest without fouling, and there wasn't these bogus calls, right? There was a few. There was some that they should have never had to challenge, and then the challenge was quote-unquote won, but then it just didn't really benefit them. They still lost their timeouts. So the refereeing wasn't 100% great today, but it also wasn't as bad as we've seen. So it just gives you a sense, like I said, going into the playoffs, you want to see how this team could fare. And there's been a lot of people, talking about it. I heard it on Jovan Buha's podcast after the game that the Lakers seem to have a gear that they could turn up at any given time. And it just shows, like against certain teams that they know they really want to beat, they really can turn it on, right? Sometimes it's just not there, like against Golden State. There was a lot of things that went wrong. Luka didn't have the best game, but it just seems like they have this pick and choose mentality where they will show up and show out against the right teams. Sometimes it bites them in the ass. They could show up for most of the game and then give it away like they did against Chicago. Thankfully, they responded to everything that OKC would do in this game. But like I said, it's interesting to see that it seems like against big matchups on the schedule, they really tend to give it their best shot. And hopefully it's a trend that carries over to the playoffs, because like I said, everything needs to go right for this team. I think there needs to be a perfect storm. But then again, I started rethinking my own take, and I was like, maybe in a seven-game set, the Lakers, maybe they just have enough games where those things just go right, or enough of those things go right, or the teams that normally get, more calls than them, or, take advantage of their switches and they get foul calls. Like, I don't know. Maybe the Lakers are just able to overcome the deficiencies or turn it up for 4 games out of 7 and win every series. I have no idea. It just gets you thinking, like, can this team just be unbeatable in a 7-game set? Because, I don't know, it's hard. When you're matching up against the same team, I think it's a lot easier to lock in. It's harder when you're going against different teams, traveling. You got to implement all that, different things. Luka's still, for all intents and purposes, getting acclimated to LA. He hasn't even been here for 6 months. It's been like 3. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But when you're able to just, you're playing the same team, you're able to just settle in, the matchup, what they're most likely going to do, what they're going to try to throw at you. They get an idea of what you want to do. It's about if they can stop it or not. Like when you go against, you put this team in perspective against OKC. OKC's got they had the best defense in the league. So that's the beautiful thing about this game. The Lakers score 126 against the best defense in the league. But at the same time, they're great defenders, right? That they do have, like Jalen Williams and Lou Dort and Kaysen Wallace and Alex Caruso. Shout out to Alex Caruso, though, Laker legend, right? But those guys, they're good. They're good defenders, but they're not big enough for LeBron or Luka, and even Reeves. Reeves can take advantage of those matchups with speed. Some of them, they might be a little bulkier than him, but he's faster, right? Like he has a quick first step sometimes. He has little dribble moves he could pull off. He was really eating against those matchups as well. So even though he doesn't have the same size as LeBron and Luka, he was eating in his own way. So what I'm saying is a team like OKC, they do have an identity that's like defensive, but I don't know if it's enough defense to truly stop the Lakers. Because even if you switch like a big, like Hartenstein onto Luka, you saw what he was doing. He was stepping back on him. Same thing with Chet. I don't think Lou Dort's big enough for Luka. But Luka did give him props. He said he's one of the best defenders in the league. But at the same time, I think Luka knows he can eat against that matchup. So it all comes down to the team being in rhythm, the team having the confidence, not letting the moment be too big. And I just thought we saw a lot of what their mentality could be playing against this team if they have to have, obviously they're not going to have home court, right? But it seems like Luka relishes the road matchups, and he loves just talking trash to the fans and laughing and, pointing fingers at them. I think he even flipped off a fan today. And that fan happened to be someone that actually, like, he's like in the betting community. And I think I don't know if he was trolling, but I don't know if Luka actually like flipped him off. It looked like in the picture he did, but I guess he told Luka he sucked, and he was only mad because he was losing money because he bet against the Lakers. But anyways, he said Luka flipped him off for saying he sucked or whatever. But I just think Luka really relishes that. He relishes those type of moments, and it gave you a preview today of potentially what playoff Luka could be all about. And I saw this firsthand last year. I watch a lot of games, just I'm interested in games. I don't care if the Lakers out of the race. I like to watch games, and I was watching Dallas as the underdog in most of their series, and Luka was a menace. Luka was, I mentioned it before when we first got him, that he was the kind of player that could just rip your heart out and just talk trash to you on your home court. He did that to Minnesota when Rudy Gobert was not able to hold him on the perimeter, the quote-unquote defensive player of the year, I think like 2 times already. He wasn't even able to guard and switch on to Luka. Luka hits a step back to seal the deal in that game, and Luka was screaming at him saying, "You can't fucking guard me." And that's the kind of energy. That's the kind of energy and the aura that Luka brings to the playoffs. And so we get that preview today, and it's just exciting to think about, because even though I have my reservations, even though I think that there's a lot of things, like I said, that need to really go good for this team in order to win, I just got to thinking today, maybe in a 7-game series, the Lakers could have all those things go their way. Maybe they'll be disciplined enough. Maybe the defense is back where it needs to be to cover up for some of the offensive deficiencies. But we're starting to see this offense really turn it up. I feel like we're starting to see like the entire full potential of what this could actually be. Because for a while there, it seemed like they just weren't living up to the excitement, that like the level of excitement that everyone had. Was like, you got Luka, you got LeBron, you got Reeves, like what are they doing? But now they've had more games where they're all eating in one game. And we saw that with the last game. They had a lot of points they combined for. They had a game before that too where I think it was against Houston. They all scored a combined like 80 something points. And then against the Pelicans, I think it was like a combined 90 or something. So they're showing that potential. Today, they didn't really have to do that because they're controlling the game for the most part. LeBron's been eating a little later in these games, which is fine. I mean, you don't really expect a 40-year-old to have their foot on the gas the entire game, but it seems like when he gets the team to himself in the fourth quarters, when Luka's taking a break, there's times where Reeves is taking a break as well, but then they're really good in the two running little 2-man actions together. But it seems like LeBron, when he starts the fourth without Luka, he'll go off for like 10 points in that quarter, just right in the beginning, and then Luka can come in and kind of finish the job. So I kind of like the little shifts that JJ's been implementing. But like I said, today's game showed that the Lakers could go as far as they truly want to go, and I keep saying that because it's all about effort. It's all about, are they going to show up? Are they going to take the matchup serious? Are they going to make sure they don't play down to competition? Like, the way it's looking right now, the Lakers should be able to hold on to the 3rd seed. They got a freaking assist from 2 teams today. The Nuggets and the Warriors both lost. So it really helped them out, because if they wouldn't have lost, then the Lakers would have to probably go like 3-1 in their last 4. And reminder, they play OKC again on Tuesday. Then on the back-to-back, they play the Mavericks in Dallas. So that's Luka's homecoming back to Dallas. It's like a storybook, and Luka's going to want to play that game. So he's playing the back-to-back for sure. LeBron, AR, everyone's probably playing because they want to be there for Luka, right? So that's already an emotional game, but then you play this same team that you already punched in the mouth, that you already, I don't know. It's going to be a tough test because now they're in a position where they can go 2-2 in their final 4 games and hold on to the 3rd seed. So they did get that assist, like I said, with Denver losing and Golden State losing. Now they only have to go 2-2, and there you go. You get 50 wins, and you also secure the 3rd seed. But what I was saying is, on this side of the bracket, in the first round, they're probably going to play against, either like a team that whoever comes out of that, what would it be, the 6th seed, right? So they either play the Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, and I think the Clippers are in that race too. So it's going to be interesting how it all plays out, but at the same time, they get to avoid a second round matchup against the Thunder. They'll have to play the Rockets, or if the Rockets lose. So they keep that side of the bracket to themselves, where if they do see the Thunder, it's not going to be till the end. So you really want the Lakers to go at least 2-2 in this last little stretch of 4 games. And if they could do that, then, the sky's the limit for them. But the crazy thing about the West right now is you have, let me see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams that are all 46-32, which is just insane. It's just nuts. If you put that, just one of those teams in the, because they're all tied to even try to be, it's from the 4th seed down to the 8th seed. They all have that record. And then you look at the Eastern Conference, and the 4th seed has 31 losses, and then the next seed has 34. And I had a conversation with my friend Tyler about this, and he's a Celtics fan, so he's pretty biased. But he thought I was being biased when I said that the East is weaker. But the thing is, you put these teams in the East, and there would be so many teams not even in the conversation. But the East allows a lot of teams that shouldn't even be there to be there. So it's pretty wild. This is one of the closest races that I've ever seen for the Western Conference. And I'm just glad the Lakers have the tiebreakers against most of these teams if push came to shove. But all they really got to do is go 2-2. OKC is going to want to come out and look better against this team. They might not, who knows? Maybe they don't even play their guys because they already have the number 1 seed locked in. Maybe they don't want to show the Lakers any other looks. Maybe they want to save that in case they see us in the Western Conference Finals. But either way, I don't see them doing that. I think they are going to have their guys out there. I think they are going to want to play even harder. Unfortunately, it's not like the Lakers get 1 game in OKC. They got that done. And it's not like they go back to LA. They got to stay there, and they got to play them again in the same place. So hopefully the Lakers can continue. I feel like maybe the next game will be closer, but I think the Lakers can still get it done because the formula's there. And yeah, maybe I didn't even mention this, but the Lakers end up having a franchise record hitting 22 threes, which is crazy. They're not going to do that again, right? But if they can hit at least 15 to 17, and LeBron, Luka, AR, they might need to get to the paint more. Shea's going to shoot more than 0 free throws, right? By default, he's getting at least 1, right? But he's going to get more. And I think that team's going to probably point out to the refs, hey, he didn't get any. What's going on? Even though, like I said, the Lakers played good defense. They weren't fouling. They were literally making sure that they didn't foul. And so, I don't know. There will be adjustments. I think the Lakers do pose a lot of problems. I think there's a lot of matchups that do benefit the Lakers. But you know how Shea is. He can go off for 35. He can go off for 40. He can go off for 50. We've seen this happen before. So it's going to be an interesting game. I hope the Lakers are able to bounce, not even bounce back, but pretty much run it back and get a win again against OKC on their home floor, and then play in Dallas the day after. It's going to be a lot of emotions, but I think Luka's going to show up, and we can't forget that AD, Laker legend himself, is going to be suiting up for that game as well. They want that game. They do. Damn well that's their game 7. They don't care what happens in the playoffs. Kyrie's not even playing. They're going to be lucky to make it, anywhere besides the second round, right? So they're going to want this win. This is one of the biggest games. Nico's going to feel justified for making the trade if AD can come through and get them that win. But like I said, the Lakers got to handle business on Tuesday against the Thunder. Again, but they really do seem like they can hit a crazy peak, and today was their peak. Luka was looking like he was Luka again. Like I said, it was good to see him keep that consistency from the last game that he found for the rest of the game. And if we get that Luka again, they should be able to win. Because, like I said, today, if it was more competitive, I think he could have dropped like 40 plus. So if it is more competitive the next game, and Luka's in this type of rhythm, and the Lakers defense is playing at their full potential, and obviously Rui's got to chip in. Obviously Austin's going to be Austin. LeBron's going to be LeBron. But we need Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith to continue their hot streak of just playing, just play your game. Don't be afraid. Step into shots. Do your thing. And I think the Lakers will be fine. You know, Luka got punched in the mouth today, and he tasted his own blood, and he went crazy after that. So if that's what it took, and now we get this demon, I mean, going forward, though, this is a momentum game. This is a potential showing game. Hopefully the team just goes, hopefully this is the catalyst that we've been waiting for to really snap them into focus with 4 games before the playoffs. Like, this is the perfect time for them to beat the number 1 seed in the whole league, right? So the next game, whether they win it or not, make it a game, make it competitive, you know, like, keep your foot on the gas from the last game. Hopefully there's a mental psyche thing where they just have the Thunder's number, and that could carry over. You never know from this game to the Western Conference Finals, if they play them again in a 7-game set. Hopefully it carries over. But like I said, there's a lot of unanswered questions that we will get the answers to. We're going to see Tuesday if the Lakers could repeat this performance, or at least keep it competitive, and at least continue to show some consistency. We got Luka's homecoming in Dallas. It's a crazy week for Lakers basketball, but I look forward to covering it all. I will be back for that Tuesday game against OKC, as well as the Dallas game on Wednesday. But as I said, we're going to see how it all plays out. I hope you guys are looking forward to the playoffs, because they're right around the corner. But that's going to do it for the Lake Show Flow. Like I said, before I leave though, please hit the like on the video, show some support to the channel, comment on the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you are new. But that is going to do it for the Lake Show Flow, and we'll see you guys next time.